of my New Testament, which is right. This is of course Danish, but he actually says that he won't go up to this celebration. Yeah, he says, You go up to the festival. I will not go up to this festival because my time is not at the time, he said that and stayed in Galilee. So according to the Danish Bible here, it actually pretty directly says that that he won't go up to the festival. Of course, if he said that, he would be lying because just afterwards he goes up to the festival. So I think there's something wrong with the translation here. Of course, again, and of course they don't even want to put the name of God in there. I actually talked with one of these high level, this is version from like they're copywriting it as well. So I guess they have to follow these stupidities of changing the Bible to an extent so it can be copyrighted. 2 seconds. It's from 1992, so version. I haven't checked others, but it pretty much makes Jesus a liar. It says, "I will not go up." You go up to the party or festival. I won't go up. I will not go up to this festival. Well, and then he goes up, right? So something seems to be wrong in the translation because you're either going to make Jesus a liar or something is wrong, And of course, Jesus was not a liar. So, yeah. Again, sometimes you have these weird things going on in the translations and it's just, and, when I talk to the woman that is apparently high up in the hierarchy of translating the Bible and all that, and she pretty much just fled from me. I'm like, in regards to the name and this and that, and you come on, it's in the Bible, put it in there. You have to be kidding me. You're mistranslating the Bible. I think it's just totally outrageous. So anyway, I had some music on. My neighbor has now, the other neighbor has now begun to, it's just so noisy in this apartment. It's just, I hate living in an apartment. It's just, you really have a hard way of actually having a normal life in a sounded, hard to sleep. The worst thing is in regards to the sleep. When you want to sleep, would like to have some quietness, right? It's just, with all these gimmicks we have today, television and all that bullshit, running and, it's incredible. Anyway, I would have liked an auto camper, but, just get away from this wicked world of insanities, that you could just, you have your house on wheels pretty much. I don't need that much, I just need a place to sleep and have my Bible, and that's pretty much, to do research and all that. I don't really need, of course, in regards to food, it would actually be nice to have some good nutritious foods. Of course, so maybe a little land where you maybe could have a goat or a cow or whatever, and I don't know if that would be possible to come around, and a sheep and all that, I don't know. Then one could come by but I guess the cows, and if they, in regards to milking, they might actually be needed milking every day. That will set you a little back, of course. I don't know what to do in regards to that. Maybe one could have like a thing in the behind where sheep or goat could have its luxury, and while driving around, and then when you had some green, you could just take it out and have it eating while you Yeah, it would be pretty cool, going out in the forest and releasing the goat and just, doing its thing, and you could just relax there, and yeah, it would be nice. Anyway, and of course have some food in the wagon as well and all that. Yeah, I don't know. At least you would have some healthy, milk with you in some sense. Anyway, so that was just a little one in regards to the Danish Bible seemingly telling that Jesus saying that he's not going to the festival, which is a commandment in regards to the Torah. So of course he needs to go to the festival. So it's either making him a liar or something is mistranslated. Other translations do differently. Anyway, I should stop. Have a good one, all of you. Just a little one. Going to read further and see Michael Root. And Michael Root is again, I've seen him, I think it's 2 or 3 times he have said that Yeshua went up to Hanukkah. I think 2 or 3 times. I'm not sure. I think it actually 3 times, but I'm not entirely sure in regard to the 3 times. But he has multiple times said that Yeshua went up to Hanukkah, and it's just not true. He was already there, according to the book of John. Just read from chapter 7, I think it is, where he goes up to Sukkot. This is the last festival of the year, written in the Torah. Now, of course, it's not the last festival if you take Hanukkah in regards of, but Hanukkah is not found in the Bible, in the Torah. So the law of God doesn't tell us to celebrate Hanukkah, okay? And again, in regards of what I've looked into and all that, Hanukkah, I wouldn't keep it. So it seems to be going from one third, from Christ Mass third to Hanukkah third. It's just, let's just focus on the festivals that is actually written in the Torah. I think that would be a pretty good thing to do. We already have a huge amount to learn in regards of that. So why have all these man-made laws that is not written in the Torah when we can't even figure out to keep the real ones? That Jehovah told us to keep. That should be our first and foremost concern. And then and again, as far as my research went on Hanukkah, there's some paganism in that as well, if I remember correctly. And again, those 7 lights of the menorah, well, the real menorah is 7, not 9. And it's just it's just a lot of it's just leave it alone, I think. Chapter 7, in regards of, that's when Yeshua is talking about, I'm according to the Danish version here, I'm not going up. And of course, the Danish version also includes the thing that he made every food clean. Now, of course, this is written 2 places in regards to this story. You have to remember the context of it. He's talking to the Pharisees. Now, it was not a problem in regards of clean meat and unclean or clean or unclean animals. It was in regards of, the disciples was not washing their hands and all that. But and then they put, then he made all things clean. Well, that would be going against the Torah, wouldn't it? In regards to clean and unclean animals. But it is true that Yeshua is talking about that is what goes out from our hearts that makes us unclean and so forward. But again, in the Torah, the Torah says what is unclean and what is clean. And pig are unclean, and, shrimps are unclean, lobster is unclean, crabs are unclean. And I think eels are unclean as well and so forward. So a lot of animals are unclean and all that. But and again, the closer we get to the Bible, the easier it is to understand things. Someone is calling on the Sabbath.
Paul from plus 45 32 20 72 53.
We'll just decline that. Incredible. People always call on the Sabbath, nearly always on the Sabbath people call. It's just, You know, they want to, this and that and so forth. Well, it's a Sabbath, you know. You need to tell people hundreds of times, apparently, you know, because they're apparently so-called always forget, you know. Let's see here. Let's see here. What did we get to? I lost it. In regards to the food, right? In regards of unclean food and clean food and all that. It's interesting, right? People are never calling other days, mostly. It's like the Sabbath is always the place where I guess the devil gets people to call you and try to get you off track and all that. You will see. If you begin to keep the Sabbath, you will or try to keep the Sabbath, you'll begin to see what I mean. It's incredible. It's just incredible. It's hey, I'm keeping the Sabbath. Oh, you keep? Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, well, like I've told you hundreds of times. Okay, that's maybe a little, but it feels like, you know, that you're told the person hundreds of times, you know. Let's see here. So again, if you read the chapter 7 in regards to this and just go go along, you can see he's not going up to Jerusalem to celebrate Hanukkah. It's just saying that it was Hanukkah, that, you know. And so we know in regards to when it was, because Hanukkah is in the winter, the Jews are still keeping Hanukkah. And that's, you know, in now it's around Christmas time this year. But again, because the Jews are not using the Roman calendar, they use their calendar, which is where they have calculated not out from the, you know, because they were cast out of Israel and all that, and thereby they had this still based somewhat in some sense on biblical principles, but they had, because they were not in the land, they couldn't really calibrate it according to the land. Now, of course, now that we have the Jews back in the land, you know, now people are researching these things and looking at the land of Israel to try to, you know, to figure out when the new year actually is in regards of the Aviv. In regards of the body, when it's Aviv, and thereby the new year begins and all that. Anyway, so yeah, I guess I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with all this information. But anyway, if you look at John 7, 8, 9, and I think over to 10. He leaves, you know, at Hanukkah. That's the time he seems to be leaving Jerusalem. I see here. So the party of the, you know, Hanukkah was in Jerusalem, and it was winter, and actually tells us it's winter, you know. So we already know when that would be, right? And Yeshua went around in the temple court, I guess, in Solomon's, Solomon's, I can't remember what they're called, but anyway, and the Jews came and asked him. So it is in regards of the festival of Hanukkah. Let's see here. When did he actually go away from Jerusalem? And it's just after, or is it actually at the party itself? But of course, it's not a commanded party to keep. And again, to say that Yeshua was actually celebrating Hanukkah because he's found in the temple is just, I think it's outrageous. Okay, and so at the party of this Hanukkah, they surround him and all that, and they want to stone him and all that, and so it ends up. So they're trying to take him, and then he goes to the other side of the Jordan. So as far as maybe I should reread it all again, and but as far as I can see, it's all happening in regards to Jerusalem. 7, 8, 9, and 10 until that point at Hanukkah, where they then, am I wrong? I just don't see anything where he's going away at all. It doesn't say he's coming up to Jerusalem. It's already there. It just says now it's the time of Hanukkah. Okay, it's the time of Hanukkah. He's been there for around 2 months and teaching, it seems. And we just get a little snippet of it, in some sense. I guess you can do a lot of teaching in 2 months, right? So again, he leaves either at the time of Hanukkah, which, he could, do without any problem because it's not written in the Torah, so he doesn't need to be there or anything like that because, it's not commanded. And, either in the festival or just, close to after the festival. So, in any case, so he leaves Jerusalem at that point. But again, it doesn't say he's coming up to celebrate Hanukkah. I don't understand why Michael Root would be saying these things, because it doesn't say that. Show me some scripture for that. Show me some scripture that he actually is coming up to Jerusalem, because he's already in Jerusalem. And if he's already in Jerusalem, it's just teaching. And just because the Jews are celebrating Hanukkah doesn't mean that Yeshua is celebrating a festival which is not found in the Torah. At least there's not enough proof, I think, to actually conclude that he's celebrating that. In any way. It's just mentioning and all that. He's in the temple as usual, in regards to teaching, You see him in the temple again and again and again, right? So, or at the synagogue in regards of speaking. Yeah, it's just... Anyway, that's all. Anyway, whatever. Have a good one. I'll close down, just go along.